This ain't just ordinary. No love like this, baby. It's extraordinary.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Lord Put a Ring on It. It is your host, Dr. Tiki Collins. Hey guys, what's going on? What you guys been up to? It's been a minute, right? Yes, it has been a minute. And I always say I'm back, so I am back. I am back. Listen, we got a lot to catch up on. There's a whole lot of things going on in the world. You know, Lord Put a Ring on It. We're all about relationships. And today, we're going to be talking about some very bad behavior during relationships or after relationships. You guys know me. I don't hold any punches. I say it like I hear it. And we're going to jump into it today. All right. So listen, I know a lot of us have gone through breakups, you know, and unfortunately breakups are not always fun. They're not fun. And a lot of times, of course, we have, you know, fortunately and unfortunately, there's children involved. So today I am talking about bitter Bettys, bitter Betsies, bitter Beverlys, bitter Bays, bitter Barbaras, whatever you want to call her, a bitter woman. And I know, you know, I am all for women. Like I am advocate for women. You know, I think we should be represented. We should be represented. We are underrepresented. We get kind of like the brunt of a lot of bad situations. But in this case, we're talking about women. I'm talking about a woman today who is bitter. Because there's no other way to put it other than she's bitter. And bitterness does not get us anything. And specifically, I want to talk about today women who are bad-mouthing their children's father. Don't say to me, okay, what about the fathers who are bad-mouthing the mothers? Okay, it goes for them too, but I'm specifically talking to us today, ladies, women who are bad-mouthing their children's father. And not just are they bad-mouthing their children's father, but women who are not allowing a child to see their father. I know you guys are already upset with me right now. I can hear some of y'all saying, well, here, you know, but just give me a chance. Let me cook. I promise I'm going to get done. And it's going to make sense. It's going to make sense because a lot of this behavior, it's not good behavior. It's not good for you. It's not good for the child. All right. It's not good for the child. So whatever it is that you and the child's father have been through, have endured, that's between you two. It's where it should always stay, between you two. The child should never be privy to it. The child shouldn't be part of it. The child, you know, you should not bring your child into that. Now, I'm going to tell you what I've witnessed, and I've witnessed this over and over and over again, and maybe some of you have too. When your children are young, you see women who are really bad-mouthing, you know, the children's father. And I'm not saying that the children's father, you know, didn't do anything to deserve it. I'm not saying that he wasn't a rotten person. I'm not saying that, you know, he was the worst scum of the earth. I'm not saying that those are, you know, not true about this person. What I am saying is that your child should never hear it leaving your mouth. Your child should never hear any negative words about his or her father. Though it may be true that he may be the worst person in the world, you should not be the one that's spewing that to this child. And for a couple of reasons, and we're going to get into it. Reason number one, this is the main reason. I'm going to start with the main reason and work my way down because I feel like what women who do this don't realize is that this child is a part of him. So every time you say these dirty, nasty, vile, malicious things about this man, what your child is hearing is, I came from him. Part of that is me. Part of that is me. So when you're tearing down this man so bad, a child is really hearing, well, this man is so bad. He's my father. He gave birth to me. There must be something to me that might be bad too, because your child is hearing this negativity. Why do you think so many children need a therapy? Why do you think so many children, when they grow up, they don't understand who they are? They're still looking for love. They're reaching for love, and there's many reasons that children grow up like that. But however, women, we add fuel to that fire when we do these things. You cannot make that man sound so bad. Tear him down in front of your child. Now, you can say it to yourself. You can say it to your girlfriends. Say it in your pillow. You can say it to God. But your child should never hear this stuff coming out of your mouth. Because children, even though they're young, even though they may even agree with you, they're children. They don't know. But you're painting the narrative of this man. Again, even if it's true, but you're still painting a narrative in this child's mind when they're young and they grow up hearing how bad their dad was, hearing how he was the worst, whatever you wanted him to be. But yet and still, this child came from that man. Yep, this child came from that man. So don't think that this does not have a little bit of that in their psyche, because they do. A little of that still plays out in the psyche of a child. And whatever you are depositing in your child's psyche, in his mind, he's going to remember. He or she is going to remember. How many of you guys look back and you remember, I remember what my mom said. I remember what my mom said. We remember what our parents say. We do. We remember. So don't think your child is going to be any different. And remember, at one point in time, you laid down with this man. You were with this man. So whatever he was doing it right. Now, let me pause right here for a brief moment, just a moment. And this is serious. I just want to say this. I am not talking about a man who was maybe abusive in a physical, mental, sexual way. I'm not talking about that man. I'm not talking about him. Okay? I am not talking about that man. All right? So I just want to clarify that. But I am talking about every other man on this planet who, just because they broke your heart in some way, they cheated, had an affair, or did any other thing to make you upset, that you just can't stand their guts. I'm talking about that man. All right. So I just want to be clear on that. So we have to be careful what we deposit into our young child's mind, into his hearing. And the reason, ladies, that we do those things, the reasons that we down these men, is because we're bitter, we're hurt. That man did something to us that hurt us. The other reason is sometimes that child reminds you of that man. And you just have to unload that off of your chest, and you're unloading it onto this child. The other reason we do it is because we just want an ally. We want a partner. We want somebody that we can feel safe with, somebody that gets somebody on our side to feel the same way we feel about this man. And that's the worst thing in the world to do, is get your child on your side to feel some kind of way about his or her father. It's wrong. It's wrong. I don't really care how you slice that. It is wrong. Because what you should be doing is allowing that child to form his or her own opinions as time goes by into who that man really is. Because see, when it comes from them forming their opinion, then they're not going to look back someday and said, all these things my mom said weren't true. Or maybe some of them were true, but my dad's a good person. Now they feel some kind of animosity against you because you did your best to tear them down. Ladies, this should never come from you. I can't stress that any more than I already have. It affects the child. We should be nurturing in our child's mind positivity. Even if you do not have anything kind to say about your ex or the child's father, just don't say anything about the man at all. Don't say anything. But stop planting all of these negative seeds in your child's mind about this man. That's a big problem in a lot of our homes, because seeds planted in a child grow up to be either flowers or weeds. And you are planting a lot of weeds when you're downgrading and you're talking down about their father. And the biggest reason, and I started off with it, is because this child is a part of that man. So a couple of things. What does that make you, that your discernment, and I'm not blaming you, ladies, but I'm just laying this out on the table. Come on, this is real talk right now, okay? What does it say about you, about your discernment, right? How you're picking a man, okay? Not even how you're picking a man, because you could be totally, innocent in all this. Nobody told somebody to go out to cheat. So I'm not saying this is a blame game for you, but I'm saying these are things that children think was like, okay, well, mommy, well, you picked him. What was going on when you picked them? Now, again, some women are totally innocent. Like, men just go off to the left. They do what they want to do, and it leaves a woman scorned. I get that. I do. But you shouldn't be talking bad about this man either. But also, I'm just talking right now in the vein of, what is a child thinking when you are saying all these horrendous things about this man? And the reason I know what children are thinking is because I have done child psychology. And these children talk to you, and these children say to me, well, my mommy, said my dad was this, that, or the other. But why was she with him? If he was such a monster and was all of these things, why? And am I going to grow up to be like that? Or, what about me? It hurts my feelings when mommy says those bad things, but I listen. So children are talking. I just want you ladies to know, children are talking. So I know you're upset, and I know you have to get this stuff out of you, how you feel. The closest person to you is your child. So you're building an ally. You want this child to be on your side. Let's keep it real. 100. Let's keep it real. You want the child to be on your side. You want the child to feel the way you feel about this man. And it's not right, because it's not the child's man. It's the child's father. I'm going to say that again. You want that child to be bitter and to feel a way about their father. You want that child to be angry, to be mad, to be scorned. You want them to feel everything about that man that you feel, because you're getting that child to be your ally. But the thing you have to remember is, it is not that child's boyfriend or husband or man. It is that child's father. So you're painting a picture. You're taking your portrait onto that child. You want that child to have the feelings you have for a father. That's their father. It's not their man. So ladies, you got to get this. You got to stop doing that. And again, there's outlets for you. Listen, I'm a woman. I've been scorned. I've been upset. I've been, said some cross things, but never to a child. I don't care what I think. I'm not ever going to say that about that child's father to a child, because again, all I'm doing is skewing this child's mind and having them grow up with some sort of complex. And they do get a complex. I don't care what you think. You get a complex, but because you're talking to your child, it makes you feel better. It makes you feel better when they choose mommy and not daddy, because you've painted the picture in their mind that daddy is so horrible. But you guys got to remember today that these children grow up. They grow up and they become adults. And now all that you have poured into them is negativity about their father. And maybe it was so bad that you poured in so much negativity about their father that they really don't even have a relationship with their father, because of the things that you've said about their father, because how their father affected your life with his cheating and whatever else. And like I said, I'm not talking about any actual abuse or anything like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just because you're scorned because of another relationship, somebody cheated on you, walked out on you, whatever the case may be, is with another woman. I'm talking about this, okay? So a lot of women are so scorned and upset about that now they can't get past it. So they want to pour and dump all of this on their children. And the child is suffering because, again, the child's going to grow up. And now you've caused a rift in that relationship, or you know what? Not only did some people cause rifts, because some women only cause trouble and bumps in the road for the fathers, right? To make it hard for them with their children. But some women actually cause disruptions in relationships where the child doesn't even have a relationship with the father because of all the negative things that the mother is doing. And even in that case, remember, these children grow up. I keep saying they grow up because they do. They grow up and they become adults, especially women. And sometimes women, when you think about why sometimes you're in the same situations you're in when it comes to a man and how you carry these feelings so long, has a lot to do with sometimes the relationship you had with your father. I'm going to save that for another show because that's a whole different can of worms, right? But I'm still saying that you have to break that chain, because maybe what you've been through in your past with your father, and now maybe your father, you felt like he was rotten, or maybe your mom told you he was rotten and he was a dirty scandal or whatever, and you didn't have a relationship, or you had a half a relationship, and now you have your own children, and this man that you were with and did the same thing, and now you're repeating this with your child. So now this child grows up, now they want to know, like, why am I failing in all my relationships? Especially if it's a woman. I don't have a relationship with my dad. Oh my God, my dad was so horrible. So now every man is a horrible man. So it is a rebounding chain of confusion for children. And even with boys, young boys grow up to be older men, and these boys are taking on their mother's opinion of what their fathers are, and they're being shaped in these little boys' minds of what a man is, because the man that they see is the one that their mother is painting for them. He's dirty, he's rotten, he's did all this, but yet you're spewing this into a little boy. So now the little boy grows up to be a man, and he's looking at the picture mommy painted. Oh, this is what a man is, because this is what my dad was, and this is what it looks like. Even though you can tell a boy, young man, child, all you want, oh, you're not going to be like your father. But guess what? All he hears in his ears is mommy said he was a player. Mommy says he was rotten. Mommy says he didn't pay for me. Mommy said, he's hearing this. So don't you think if he's hearing that, he's holding on to some of that, either subconsciously or consciously. This young man, which once was a boy, is now a man. And now he has those same character traits because that's all he heard his mom say about his father. Right? So you guys, if you're not getting this, I hope somebody is. I know all of you are not going to agree, and it's okay. That's the freedom of the world we have. We can agree to disagree. You may not feel the same way, but I hear the children talking. Right? And they do grow up. And I look at young women, young men every day that have struggles because of what their mother has deposited into you. Now, ladies, you have to understand, mothers, man, let me tell you something. You guys are some powerful people. You have a lot of influence on your children, more influence than anybody else almost in this world. You have influence on your child. You can influence your child to have a positive mind about situations, or you can influence your child to have negative influences about situations. And every last one of the experiences that you are spewing into your child's mind, whether it negative or positive, is going to affect his life at some points. You're pouring into your child. You have to be careful as to what you pour in there. So if you're bitter because of a relationship, you need to stop and think, you know what? Let me call my girlfriend up. I need to tell my girlfriend, how awful this man is. Because you don't need to be telling your child. Don't need to be telling them. You're only doing it because, again, you want to ally, or you're upset, or the child reminds you of him, or you just don't want the child to like him. You want the child to take your side. And that's just stone cold wrong. That's why our families are so divided. That's why our families are split. And that's why children are struggling when they grow up to be grown-up people, because of the information that came from a mother's mouth to a child's ear. And if you don't believe me, look back over some of the things in your life, some of the very strong moments, the things that you can remember from your mother's mouth to your ear that you took with you on your journey in life, and that you still remember, that have affected you either positively or negatively. We can all look at those things and recall them in our mind just as if we were still kids. So your children are going to be able to do the same thing. Why not shape it and mold it positive? And let the child grow up to decide what his dad is. You don't need to paint the picture because number one, the world is painting the picture too. Because we got so many people walking around and these children are looking at, they don't even know what they're looking at. So what needs to be coming out of your mouth is positivity. If you don't have anything positive to say, just don't say anything at all. Don't say anything at all. Because again, these children are looking at, what is a father? What does a man look like? Whether it's a father or not. Forget the father piece for a minute. What does a man look like? Your daughter is looking at what a man looks like, and your son is looking at what a man looks like. And what you are spewing in their mind, whatever you're developing in their minds from their father, that's a piece of what they're looking at, what a man looks like. And then you're putting that in their minds, and then they're going out into the world and they're seeing how some of these men are players, how some of them are, nice, hardworking men. They see how some of them are dogs. They see it all. So you don't have to put the negative in their minds. You don't have to do that because they're seeing for themselves firsthand how people are. So you don't have to put their dads or fathers down, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to keep speaking negatively of them. They see enough negative in the world. And as they get older, they can decipher as far as, what they're seeing with their eyes. Naturally, they're going to decipher what this is. But when they have mom drawing a picture for them, now they're looking at saying, well, my dad was a no good, instead of encouraging, even if you don't want to encourage a good relationship between your children and their father, because of whatever the circumstances, your option is still not to have to tear them down. You don't have to tear them down. Let them grow up. Let them get older. And then their father can answer these questions for himself. And then you can have real talk with your children when they're older. When I say older, I'm talking about old enough where they're able to see with their own eyes what's going on. And you still shouldn't be saying anything negative. You can let them draw their own opinion. I hear too many children only being little parakeets of what their mother has said about their father. They don't even have their own opinion about what their father is. They have been brainwashed from youth to say, this is what my father is. And then some of them meet their father and it's like, that's not it at all. Right? So it goes both ways with that. Sometimes it's not what they are at all. Just the mother just wanted to keep them from them. And then sometimes it's like, okay, well, they really was a dirty dog, but you still don't need to tell the child that. Listen, I hope that this helps somebody out today because we have to be careful what we tell our children because remember, they are the future. We do want them to have a very positive experience. This world doesn't always offer positive experiences, but our mothers should be giving us those positive experiences if, they're able to. And we are able to because we can choose what we say out of our mouths. We can choose what we allow our children to hear. So the choice is yours today, mother. And I know these men, sometimes they're not any darn good. I do know that. Come on, I'm a woman. Y'all know I know. I do know. They're no darn good sometimes. But you don't need to let your child know they're no darn good, right? Tell your sister, tell your confidant. Don't tell your child. Keep it neutral with your child. Don't do that to him or her. It's not fair. It's not fair. They're not your ally. They are your child, right? You have to get over yourself in that area. Get over yourself. Well, again, I hope this helped out somebody, and I'm sorry for those of you who may be a little angry, but it's okay. Like I said, we can agree to disagree. Listen, you guys have been emailing me, and I still read emails even when I am not on live. And I always say I'm back because I do believe that I'll be broadcasting at least once a day. And that was the plan in March that I was going to come to you guys every day. Cause you guys say, I'll be listening to you when I come home on iHeart or on iTunes. You guys be representing Ghana. Y'all representing big time. My African sisters, y'all be writing me. Thank you. And all of you guys on iTunes that send me letters, iHeartRadio. I appreciate all of you guys for listening. And thank you for your patience because, again, I always tell you guys I'm a filmmaker. So I do many different projects. And sometimes I do not get to broadcast as often as I like. But I'm really making a concerted effort to come to you guys every day. Until next time, you guys have a blessed day. God bless.
momentarily when we kiss, and whenever I'm wrapped up in your arms, I know this much is true.